on. No show this week. I've been traveling. Look, I'm just going to start the show. It's the topic you're all thinking about. Can we play taps, Kelton? Do you have that sound? We got to get some sound stuff in here. That's going to be one of our interventions. We're doing some stuff here. We're remodeling the TV studio. Going to make it a little nicer for you. It's some of the stuff you're not going to see big graphics of, but it's going to be some subtle things I think you're going to like. The topic on everyone's mind is obviously the Cardinals extended their manager, Ollie Marmol, last place, Ollie Marmol. I could give you the statistics. You all already know the statistics. Obviously, it's a sad time. Shout out to 3D Doug Beck. Flat Doug didn't call me at all. 3D Doug Beck did a wellness check. Flat Doug, what the hell, man? I mean, I thought we were boys. People do say they do like 3D Doug better. Well, not Republicans, but 20% of this town does say they like 3D Doug better than you, just for what it's worth. But no, so here's the thing. For those of you that may have been kidnapped in Gaza for the last year, the Cardinals played a 162-game regular season baseball, and they came in last. So let me help you out here. There's 5 slots in the NL Central that you could conceivably finish in, from 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5. They came in last. Last. Like, there's no worse you could do. If you tried, if you did you remember that show Major League? If you tried to come in last, you couldn't do any worse than what they did. Last. The Cubs. The Cubs came in ahead of the Cardinals. Last. Kelton, I feel like somehow I'm not accurately describing the concept of last. But just hypothetically, you understand what I'm saying. You couldn't have failed anymore. Last.
It sounds like they were the worst team.
The worst. So, coming off that, you say it's not the manager's fault. Sometimes it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's not. But why would you send the message that if you're the worst at something, we'll extend you? It's like we didn't want people to think we were going to fire him. The whole world thinks you're going to fire him. He's awful. He's just terrible. Zero. And people say, oh, the first year, John Marsh. I mean, he got an argument about this on the radio. Oh, the first year was okay. No. Remember the Quintana game? Game 1 of the playoffs? You're really not a Cardinal till October. It's why a lot of folks are fine, but you're not actually a Cardinal until October. And then once October goes, you're a Cardinal. You know what he did as a Cardinal? He shit the bed. He pulled Quintana. His closer was hurt. He pulled his starter cruising through game 1 against a tough Phillies lineup. Pulls him. And, of course, we lost the game. I think he's never recovered. I hear Ollie Marmol's a nice guy, and I think that doesn't mean shit. Who cares? Be a nice guy. That's wonderful. See this? Nobody calls David Freese a nice guy, except the Evokes and Emos. They call him a winner. Nice guys are what you say about losers. If someone's a winner, you don't start with their personality. Kelton, your beautiful wife, right? She has a wonderful personality, but that's not what you started caring about, is it?
No, not
Exactly right. Personality is a compliment, an additional compliment after you've said other real compliments you actually meant. Saying someone's a nice guy is what you say about someone that loses, that comes in, Kelton. Where do nice guys ultimately finish? My buddy Jerry Dunn pointed this out.
Last place.
He must be the nicest manager in the whole damn league, because he sure came in last. Oh, it's tough. So I went down there this week and checked it out for myself. There's problems. The defense, I don't see the defense being much more crisp. Again, spring training, you could give me lots of things how it's not the same thing, and you're not totally wrong. But we'll see. I mean, the over-under is 84. Kelton, at your illegal gambling shop, are you with DraftKings on over-under being 84 wins?
I think that's right, and it's worse for their game today.
Do you know which one I'm going to take, Kelton?
I have no clue.
I'm taking the under. I'm taking the under on 84. And part of it is you can't reward failure. You just can't. It's just not the move, right? You can't reward failure. And you know what they've done, Kelton?
Sounds like they rewarded failure a little bit.
They rewarded failure. Speaking of success, let's talk about success here. Mike Parson's poll numbers, son of a gun. Missouri Republicans all hate each other. They can't agree on anything. I mean, they can't agree on what to eat for lunch. They can't agree on what hour you pass out some night peer reform thing. You know what? The one thing they could agree on, 87% of them or something, Mike Parson's a popular son of a gun. I mean, who would have thought? You actually elect a rural Missourian, you let him do his job, and great things happen, and everyone's happy, right?
It seems like they agree that they
I mean, not suburban people, but you people whine about everything. We all know. I mean, Jesus Christ, you came out of the womb crying, you ain't stopped since. But the rest of the state, my God, is there more pie? I mean, apple pie is only like polling at 78. I mean, motherhood's at like 91. He's right there with motherhood. Good Lord. Mike Parson, as many people like Mike Parson as think you should have fired Ollie Marmol. That's how popular Mike Parson actually is. I saw some interesting stuff in the poll. School choice, it polls well. Now, here, let's put this in perspective here. To put things in perspective, I think school choice. I mean, everybody's going to poll choice is a good thing. I get it. You ever see a poll number that's too strong, Kelton, and you're like, I wonder. Let's dig down here, right?
I've seen a few of them myself.
I still think by and large, school choice is popular. I mean, it just is. And I honestly, look, this is me personalizing it, but sorry. I really think people have had their cornman experiences. There's just enough Missourians have had their experience with people like Aaron Cordman, the worst superintendent in the state, now the most popular, the most well-known superintendent in the state. I think folks you just can't defend it. I mean, I did a radio show and I was kind of happy for Caleb Browden in that Senate education bill. He finally dinged the Columbia schools that he hates. I mean, he hates them. Like Jesus hates the devil. That's how much, like I hate the Cubs. That's how much Caleb hates that school. But it's hard to defend. I mean, they're taking little kids to drag shows. How do you defend that? How Kelton, as you know, I am not anti-drag. I've been to some drag shows. They're okay. I found they were more boring. Like I don't get the concept of the lip syncing, and the songs they picked, frankly, were not the kind of songs you at the Sawdust Saloon in West Butler County here. It was a nice show, right? I would go to a drag show right now, but it wouldn't be my idea, right? If Casey said, "Hey, let's go to a drag show," you know what I'd be like? All right, fine, I'll go. But I wouldn't complain too much. But it wouldn't be my idea. Oh, I know what we should do this weekend. Let's go to a drag show. That's not my thing. But I don't care. I mean, good for other people. Go to drag shows. Would I take my kids? Hell no. No, not at all. If you take your kids, Kelton, I mean, it's not my business what you do, right? I mean, I don't really care. You won't see Gussie there, but I mean, whatever. There's a lot of cool stuff. Well, there's not really that many cool things Gussie's not at. I don't really understand, but I don't like raising other people's kids for them. You raise your kids. Like, that's where me and Cornman differ. He wants to raise my kids. He wants to turn the state into basically an inner city with no fathers. I think that's kind of a bad idea. I think that hasn't worked. Kelton, when you look at places where the fathers are left, how's that working?
Not very well.
Yeah, I know. And let's go through some questions here. Going down the line, let's see. Okay, first off, yes, I thought the Senate did a good job on their education package. Essentially they bought off Carl Esslinger. If you ever if you're Jordan Montgomery now and you're not signed as a pitcher, probably call Carl Esslinger and have her negotiate for you. If you're going to buy a new truck soon, Kelton, I would take Carla with me. The lady knows how to negotiate. She provided $400 million. At some point, the dam breaks. There's just not enough people willing to defend. It's like I've met so many people. Look, my Kennett football helmets are somewhere. You could defend Kennett all day long. And you could say there's never be a charter school in Kennett because Kennett does a great job. You could defend Wellington Napoleon. There's so many schools I've been to. You'd be the first one to jump into the fight and defend them. And then you have experiences like Cornman. And it's not just the incompetency or the corruption, although that's not helpful. It's not helpful. It's also the part of no one in that establishment will say anything. You'll notice not one person. Kelton, do you know a superintendent more famous than Cornman?
Not off the top of my head.
So do you know how many people in this entire state have ever one time defended Cornman to me? They all do this. Let me show you what they're coming. Yeah. They'll go, gosh, that's terrible. And I'll go, let me show you the video. Because if you wonder why I used to defend schools and don't, you text me 573-429-5770. Let me show you a video. Let me show you a video of why I can't defend it anymore. I can't do it. Cannot do it. Everybody I talk to goes, that didn't happen. And I show them the video. They're like, oh my God. Then they'll call around and they'll come back and say, yeah, he's awful. Do you know how many people's ever defended one thing about him or that school?
I'm gonna go with 0.
Never one time. Pretty big mouth. Talked to a lot of folks. Never once has anyone defended Cornman. Never. Never one time. But you know what they always say? God, that's awful. I can't believe that happened. Oh my God. But we promise you, we swear to God, Scott, at Desi, we do nothing. We don't do anything at Desi. Whatever happens with schools, the buck stops. Let me tell you where the buck doesn't stop. The buck does not stop at Desi. It doesn't stop. The buck stops here. This is on my desk. This is not on the desk at Desi. I think these are outlawed. I think there's a sign that says no smoking and no buck stops here things because the buck stops nowhere there. I don't know what they do. I honestly think if they hadn't hired Carla, you do just shut it down, right? I mean, what's the point, right? It's like the Cardinals started rotation. What's the point? So that's why I changed. You text me anytime. I'll talk to any of the 6 million Missouri in this state. I'll sit down with you. We'll have a beer. I'll tell you exactly why. I'll show you the video. And if you can defend it, well, by God, we'll just step out. We'll just step out of the bar in the back alley then. And we'll just settle it that away. So that's that. The IP stuff. Wow. Holy crap. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, there was a time I was a pretty big promoter of Senator Coleman. It's just what I mean, Kelton, you've been doing this a while. I've been doing this a while. Never in my life have I seen a senator go to the House and say, "Oh, don't worry. If you don't pass this, we'll just become the House and pass it some squirrely way with a PQ." Might shock you. Mike Cunningham didn't do that. That wasn't what Ron Richard did. That wasn't Mike Kehoe's take. It just knocks you down. Just knocks you down. Knocks you down stunned. I don't even know what you say about that. I mean, I at first I thought that didn't happen, right? There's no way a senator would go do that. Then I had a couple senators ask me if that happened, and I'm like, well, here's the thing about the Independent. You say what you will about the Independent. I don't believe the Independent makes up quotes. I don't think they lie. I just don't. I mean, look, I know this isn't an age for nuance, but I don't think the Independent is an organization that lies. I don't think Rudy Keller invents quotes. I don't think Rudy Keller takes facts that are clearly lies and prints them as. I just don't. Maybe you do, and show me that. Show me, right? I'm from Missouri. Show me. I'm not of that belief. However, I do think what they're a paid advocacy group. Andrew Bailey put that out very well. And he said that they're a paid group that they advocate for liberal stuff. It's their job to put the Republicans in a bad light, put liberal cause in a good light. I think that's very evident, but I don't think they lie. I don't, when you say fake news, like, is it biased news? Of course. Is it news? I think it is. Is it, are they paid to do something by people that want to go? Of course they are. It's the way it is. And I look, they act like that's some kind of major slam, but it is what it is, right? And the other media go along because they probably want jobs there. It's probably better to work for SEIU or whatever front groups they put in front of the Independent than actually work for the Post-Dispatch. Probably makes more money, if I had to guess. I don't know. But I don't think they lie. So I read the story. I read the Independent stories all the time. And I know what I'm reading. I'm reading a interest group's take on the news. To be honest with you, I don't notice a lot of differences from when they worked for the Star or the Tribune to now. Maybe a little bit more clear-cut liberal bias, but I mean, it is what it is. It is what you know what you're reading. So it's like when you watch Fox News, you know what you're watching. Same thing, except this is a little bit different. And Fox News has a readership, I guess they have, or viewership they have to maintain to make money, where they're just pretty much a donation to produce liberal content. But I read their story. And I actually confirmed that, yeah, that's what happened. I think it's probably the worst thing to happen to the IP bill. Look, it is very telling that Republicans. I saw Plucker come out and say, "Yeah, we're gonna try to clean Missouri of this." Kelton, you post old clips of my TV show, right?
We got some going up today.
And let me start off with: I personally believe it should be harder to amend the Constitution. I think it's too easy. I think it's too easy for the legislature to change a citizen passed statute. But I absolutely think it's too easy to amend the Constitution. And I think what they're doing is the right thing for the state. But, and you know me, hypocrisy, I get it. Have all the hypocrisy you want. I'm in. There is a level, though, where it's like, damn, that is hypocritical. All these folks thought, Clean Missouri took a gerrymandering scheme and put a bunch of bullshit around it, right? That doesn't matter to anybody. It's just stuff that might sound good in a commercial, but in reality, it doesn't affect anything. They took the lobbyist gift ban from $5 to $2 or $1 or $0. I don't know, something like that, right? So, just a bunch of bullshit to pass their gerrymandering scheme, which awesome. That's cool. I mean, I get it. Good politics. Is it shady? Yeah. Is it dishonest? I think so. But it is what it was. It was. The Supreme Court made a ruling, and I don't argue with Supreme Court judges because I don't really understand what they do much. But I do think that Clean Missoura was deceptive, and it should be against the law to pack that stuff together. And all the Republicans thought that 5 years ago, right? Every single one of them thought it was bad, right?
There's definitely some that didn't like it that I found.
Now they want to do IP reform. And you know how you can tell a representative with a bigger office? They start telling you how, oh, no. I'm not going to vote for a PQ unless it's about guns or abortion. But they make everything about abortion. Everything's about abortion. So it's just a way for a House member to have a bigger office, really. And that's the sad part about Senator Coleman. I thought she has 2 terms to run for in the House. Go run for them. I don't know why you just go run for them. If you want to be the House, go be the House, right? The compromise they made was, hey, come out and put it on the ballot. Should it be harder to amend the Constitution? Well, fair enough, right? I mean, that's makes sense to me. But in the end of the day, that's not what they want to put a bunch of just bullshit, Clean Missouri stuff. The same stuff Dean Blocker said was awful. Oh, so bad back in the day. Now it's totally fine, right? Now we totally want to take. Really, they should get Sean Nicholson to run the campaign because they're taking Sean's blueprint and just replicating it, right? I mean, is the MVP of this week of the Missouri Republican Party Sean Nicholson?
It sure seems.
Show me how it's not. Show me how it's not. So they're gonna try to do it in the House. I actually think you have a few senators that are actual senators. You have Rowden, Huff, Searpoy, Bernskatter. They've never voted for a PQ. They're actually senators, like real senators, not reps with bigger offices. There's a curse of that PQ. There's a curse of that PQ. Go ask the Kim Gardner bill. Senator Onder had some homophobic thing. Go down the list. The right to work. That PQ is a cursed thing. And if they do it, the old curse of Dick Webster, the curse of real Republicans may come back and bite them. I hope it does. I think you could make a real case to the people of this state that it should be harder to amend the Constitution. I really do. I think they're right on the issue. It's just the cheap that they're not convinced they're right. The fact is extremism gets you here. Extremism gets you here. The abortion law is too extreme. The citizens of this state don't support it. That's what this is all about, is they went too far in abortion. They're too extreme. The citizens of the state don't support this. And you could say, this is my opinion. You could say I get called liberal, conservative, too Republican, too Democrat. I'm just a simple white trash hillbilly from West Butler County. You can take my opinions or not. I think the Republicans are right on the issue. The approach they're taking, I thought Sean's plan got what it deserved. It got trumped by the Republicans by another bigger pile of bullshit. The Republicans took his plan, did the same thing in reverse, and won also. And I think, it's a time to me that was like you're doing a wrong to settle the score, right? So fine. You're just doing it wrong because you don't have the votes. You don't have the public on your side. Instead of convincing them this abortion law is the right way to go, they want to trip them up. And so I think it's sneaky and silly, and no, illegal people don't vote in this state. No more than maybe 10 in the last 10 years. It's totally a solution looking for a problem. You're being gimmicked. You're being worked. And whatever. That's, to me, it's not. If that's what you want to do, I think it's deceptive. I think you thought it was deceptive when the Democrats were doing it to you, and now you don't think that anymore. It's kind of the definition of it's not even hypocrisy, it's just bullshit, right? Am I wrong, Kelton? I mean,
it smells a little fishy to me.
But whatever. So Senator Coleman says she wants to, but all that aside, I don't think any of this is going to be the end of days. I think the thing is, when you have senators saying they want to PQ things, man, that's in a House hearing. Boy, I mean, there's still time left to run for the House. What you want to do? I just don't get it. Caleb Brown not running. Guys, you've heard me sit in this chair and say many times, I don't think Caleb actually runs. You don't. No one. If you haven't done it, Dave Schatz gets it. Ron Richard gets it. Mike Kehoe gets it. The guys in those chairs, Charlie Shields gets it. Peter Kinder gets it. Hard jobs. Bill Kenny, Mike Gibbons. hard jobs, hard leadership is so hard, so time consuming. It is a grueling thing. I just never thought Caleb Broughton really was going to sign up for it, and I've been surprised that he announced. I'm not surprised he's not running. I you tell me. I mean, I just don't. Caleb Broughton's had the hardest leadership term. First of all, he's been in leadership 6 years. That's a pretty long time. I mean, frankly, if you look that usually, I mean, that is a long time to be in Senate leadership. And the bad blood he's had from the leadership race, then he never forgave him. He's had a hard run. Caleb Brown, that job's hard anyway. He's had a hard run with it. The man deserves some time with his family. Plus, I was kind of happy to see him get his Columbus schools thing. He's worked hard on it. Great guy. Caleb Broughton's everything. You could agree with him, you can disagree with him. Caleb Broughton's everything you want in somebody making decisions for the state and the greater good. He's a good man. He's an honest man. I know there's some folks that have crossed swords with him over things. I don't know the details of all that. I'm sure you have a point. From my vantage point of watching people in politics, I think Caleb Broughton is one of the finest human beings I've ever got to sit and observe. I think the state is worse off for him not continuing his career in politics. I don't think his political career is over. And I think his family is the winner here. And I think Caleb Broughton, hell of a man. Anybody that says they agree with you all the time is just bullshitting you. But I have never thought he didn't care about the state and do things that he thought were better off for the state. I just have a high regard for him. And if you don't, well, all right, you may be right. Hell, I don't know. But my opinion is Caleb Brown's a hell of a man. All right, Kelton, let's talk about who could run. Tip sheets start rolling out. I kind of want to wait till the filing's over, right? But then tip sheets roll out. Secretary of State's race. Look, here's how I break it down. Love Paul Berry. Got to raise some money. If you don't raise money, no one's going to care. Doesn't matter. He's in lieutenant governor's race. Lincoln Huff jumped in. I think with his money, he starts as the favorite. Wassinger got the right to life race. I assume that means he's hired James. Holly Rader, I guess they don't like Holly. It's hard to keep track. Paul's got to raise money in lieutenant governor race. Plocker, I mean, if I was right to life, right, and I had my IP stuff, I mean, I don't know that I'd just jump out and poke the speaker in the eye, but I don't know. I go figure. Right to life is I really like Susan. Susan always has a reason. She doesn't owe an explanation to me or anybody else for it. But I do sometimes their tactics, not exactly the Dale Carnegie school of winning friends and influencing people, right? Right now, if I had to say, Holly Rader probably has the backstory. Dean, look, all this internal stuff with this bureaucracy trying to run him off, unless they pull up something legitimately real. And again, I've told you from the beginning, I think this ends up with a bunch of people that want to dog Dean out, dogging him out. He ends up finishing. He's hurt by it, but I just don't see a silver bullet of, oh my God, you did that. You got to resign. They'll have more hearings. I mean, good Lord, this is the never ending ethics committee. I mean, my God, they must serve some pastries at those damn hearings that are just, mwah. Why would you keep this going on and on in a circle of $4,000 the guys already give back? I just think, Judge Evans enjoys these hearings. I think Hannah is on a side, and it's tough. And the ethics committee is also, you want to talk public service? Eco Devo is public service, right? Ethics committee is public service. Can you imagine how crappy it would be for people's problems to come to you? Nobody runs for us. I want to be on the ethics committee. It is truly public service. It sucks. You want to pass laws about schools and bridges and guns and abortion or whatever Doug, labor laws like Flat Doug wants to pass. You don't want to go sit on the ethics committee. It sucks. But some things like it more than others. So I think if Dean can raise money, I mean, no one's going to care about this crap. And if Dean's smart, he'll trump this and play it on the deep state and liberal media. And there's plenty of, I've seen Trump make a lot more hay out of less than's going on here. He's a totally legitimate candidate. I kind of thought he wouldn't, and people told me that, but looks like he's a guy running for lieutenant governor. Wassinger comes out right to life. That'd be a big deal. Holly, probably the most talented politician of the crew. Lincoln's banking money like no other. I mean, good Lord. Scrooge McDuck needs a loan from Lincoln. My God. I think that puts Lincoln as the favorite because no one knows his lieutenant governor. No one cares that it doesn't do anything. So whoever has the most money to get their name out, I think, is probably the favorite. Wassinger has the money, and I like David Wassinger. His wife, oh my God, if you don't know his wife is just, I mean, she's this beautiful woman that walks into a room and just elegant and classy, and she's an amazing person. Take politician out. She just is on a different level. You ever just meet someone that's just a little bit higher level than everybody else in the room? That's how I would say his wife is. David's a hell of a guy, straight shooter. He trademarked. We got to get my hat back out. He trademarked "Make Missoura Great Again." I was really impressed by that. He put money in last time. He ran for auditor 18 when he got beat by Sandra McDowell. He put money into his campaign like he did this time. He didn't spend it, and he got whipped. I have to think this time if he's running, he's going to spend his money. He's not a dumb guy at all. He's highly intelligent, and I think he would you want to get beat by Sandra? I mean, people took a little fun with that, and I get it. That said, very bright guy. Colleen is terrific. He'll be a force. The right to life endorsement is a good thing. If you're coming in with no grassroots support and you're going to buy it, that's a great. There's no better organization to start with. It is the gold standard of endorsements. I get it in the Capitol. There's a lot of folks frustrated, but there's no better endorsement than the Missouri Right to Life endorsement in Missouri in politics. Period. It is the gold standard of endorsements. Secretary of State's race. Who gets in? Look, Caleb had it was going to be Caleb and Diddy, right? It was almost like a Shakespearean novel. They run against leadership for each other. One wins. One makes his life in leadership as big a pain in the ass he can make it. Denny's running the best campaign. Grassroots support, great on the stump. He's got some folks doing some checks after session, if I had to guess. When Schwadron run the toughest House race in the state last time. Tough race. You got the Franklin County clerk, good old boy. I like that guy. Got to raise money. If he doesn't raise money, won't be talking about him much. But Schwadron, kind of the same thing. You're going to get talked. State rep does outrank county clerk, right? It just does. You get more notoriety, attention, contacts all around the state than you do as county clerk. But I thought, well, he just doesn't want to run for that tough reelection in a presidential year. Might get beat with the abortion stuff. Until he got a $100,000 donation, then I'm like, okay, this is real. I understand there's more coming from that one donor, but if he banks $500,000, he'll get money from other people. I mean, it's. I didn't really think Adam was in this to win this. If you want the truth, until that donation. I mean, this is, you say what you will, it's a money game. It is. Maybe should it be? Should it not be? You can worry about that. It is. When they say it's not about the money, Kelton, what's it about every time?
It's always about the money.
About the money. And when he started raising, I mean, Adams got a great stump speech. He got that big size 15 booth. He's going to put up the ass of Joe Biden or something. It's a good speech. Nice guy. Adams actually is a solid dude, actually. I think you see him do a little bit lurching for attention, but look, when you run statewide, it's tough. You lurch for attention. It's the way it goes. Some of it better than others, but I mean, look, Eric Schmidt lurch for attention all the time, all the way to the United States Senate. So people that want to dog folks seeking attention, I think you limit it to signs when you're running for office. You don't do it all the time. It just gets stupid. But we'll see. Look, Senator Coleman, if she jumped into the Secretary of State's race, she'd be, I don't know about the favorite, but if she jumped into that race and put $500,000 in the bank, I think she'd be the favorite. I think Senator Hoskins is the favorite right now. Schwadron's gonna, it's one thing to get that big check, another thing to get but you get to that $500,000 range, Schwadron's right there at the top tier of that race. Shane Schuler's a great guy. Again, Shane's got a great base to run from. If Shane doesn't raise the money, he's a serious contender. If Shane's got the clearest path. If he puts $1 million in the bank, Shane will be the Secretary of State. Getting that $1 million is tough. No one cares about Secretary of State. You're not on MHDC even. It's just tough. Like activists, you can gin them up to care a little bit, but that's not really how you get money. So Schwadron's got to beat on a donor. If he runs that up and he gets to $500,000, Schwadron's a very top tier candidate. I think Denny Haas is the top tier candidate today. Like he's the top tier candidate right now. I think Adam and Shane, maybe Shane a little higher because Shane's ran statewide. Without Todd Aiken being a weirdo, Shane Schuler might be governor right now. Probably would be if you want the truth. Then does somebody jump in that Caleb void, right? That more Reagan Republican void. Who jumps into that? You kind of thought that Caleb was going to fill. I think first you look at Adam and Shane. Can Adam and Shane get around to some of Caleb's donors and convince them they're the guy? Possibly. I mean, they're both talented guys. Boy, Shane's just the most likable dude you ever met. Um, I would say Shane. So Adam, I don't think was really in this race until he scored that huge check. Now, totally in this race. Shane's gotta put that together, right? Who else could run? I thought Tony Luchtenmeyer would have been a great person to run for that, right? But I don't think he's interested in being Secretary of State. Tony Luchtenmeyer is a great politician. John Patterson's the future. When the polls close in August, at that moment, the new leader of the party will be whoever wins the governor's race. At that same moment, the future of the party will be John Patterson. I think he's going to be speaker. I don't think he's going to run for that. Could Holly or Dean jump into that race? If they did, they start off. I think both of them start off there, right there, level with Denny at the top tier. One of them could switch. I get the sense they might not. I think Dean, I mean, he's an attorney, probably wants to also do attorney work, right? Holly, I don't know all of her reasons, but I mean, if you're going to switch, probably do it now, right? I mean, why would you wait for somebody else to jump in that race? And Holly may be thinking, I'm the only woman there. I don't. Senator Coleman's you really just break down talented. She's running for the third. She's a legitimate candidate in the third district. But if I'm her, tell me why Bob Onder doesn't have a bigger set of advantages, right? I don't see how you make the case that Bob doesn't have a better playing field to play on. And I have no idea if she's going to do that or not. But I mean, for a while now, when there's been open spots, opportunities like this, you go to her because she is very politically talented. Just don't let her be Senate floor leader. My God. But so she'd be there. I don't think Patterson trades that out. I just think he's going to be speaker and probably a damn good one. You look around at the bench, Tony Luchtenmeyer right there. I just think if he was going to do it, I think he's close enough to Caleb. If he was going to do it, he would have jumped in the day Caleb jumped out. I think they would have coordinated that. So I don't see him doing it. Cindy O'Loughlin, I think she wants to run the Senate, and if the cards fall right, she'll be running the state this time next year. So Kelton, I don't know. I mean, there is some talented folks on that bench. If you're Justin Hicks, why don't you look at jumping in that race instead of the congressional race? I don't know that I think you got as good a shot, right? This is also wide open for a guy with a checkbook that wants to be governor to come by that Secretary of State's race. That's you always look at that as a possibility. I think that's absolutely out there that could happen. But when you look around the state of senators that aren't up for reelection, I think the ones that would probably have either they're running, which a lot of them are, or they got other reasons they don't want to stay. You get a lot like a Hardwick is one of the most talented House members. Something tells me he's running for Senate, but it would shock me if he didn't take a second when Caleb dropped out and think, could I pull this off? I mean, his narrative to run for office is as good as anybody's in this state. I think he's running for state Senate. But we start looking around. Something tells me the field may be set, except for a guy jumping out in. If you're going to jump like in with a checkbook campaign, if you're going to do like Wassinger, you're going to come in. Wassinger's a little because his wife has a lot of connections in politics, and he was one of the board of curators. But let's be honest, while these other folks have been out cultivating friends all around the state, Dave Wasser's making a lot of money. So you get a guy with that pedigree is what I'm talking about, jumping that Secretary of State's race. Right now, Denny Hoskins is the favorite. And then I think Shane and Adam, once filing closes, they have probably 30 days to go see if they can suck up some of that money from Caleb. And that'll kind of be how that ends up if I had to guess. Kelton, we have a basketball tournament.
We have a very big basketball tournament that starts tomorrow at noon.
Well, I'll tell you one place to go watch a tournament, Courtyard by Marriott. If you have too much, they got the big TVs there in the bar. If you have too much fun at the tournament, right, you can stay at the hotel. You're a winner either way. And my buddy's up in Northwest with a great, as Senator Hagan would say, Northwest highway commissioner from Northwest now. Good friends, United Fiber. They know how to do it right. If you're watching this on United Fiber, you're getting it. It's like special. Those of you not on United Fiber, this is actually a 3D broadcast. Your internet's just too slow to tell. If you're on United Fiber, you see the 3D right now. You can see this just looks like my hand waving, but to everyone in Northwest Missouri, this looks really cool. I actually have like a whole 40 of Bud Light I'm drinking. You just can't see it because you don't have United Fiber. You don't have that technology yet. Let's look at UConn is going to win, right? We're going to say UConn. They're going to beat Stetson. Florida Atlantic and Northwestern. I'm going to go Florida Atlantic simply because I don't like Northwestern because it's in Chicago. No, Florida Atlantic and Northwestern, yeah. San Diego and UAB. I'll go with the Baptist. Auburn and Yale. We don't like Ivy Leaguers here. We're going. What's the Auburn saying?
I have no
Roll
clue.
Tide's Alabama. Auburn's got something else. We have the Mormons versus Duquesne. They got a Mormon president at Missouri State. We'll go with them. Washington State and Morehead State. Kelton, I have no idea. Drake versus Iowa State. No, Washington State. Illinois versus Morehead State. We'll go with Illinois. Washington State and Drake. We're going to go Drake. I don't actually know. I just like a couple of his songs. What? Google Drake songs, Kelton. Iowa State and South Dakota State. I think we go Iowa. North Carolina, Tyler Hansborough is going to beat whoever Howard and Wagner is. Mississippi State, Michigan State. I'm going to go Mississippi State. Jackson, folks. St. Mary's and Grand Cayman. Oh, let's go Grand Cayman. That sounds cool. Got a lot of money down there. A lot of beaches. Alabama versus Charleston. I'll go Saban. I like him. Clemson versus New Mexico. I'll go New Mexico. Baylor and Colgate. Let's go with the toothpaste. Nevada, Dayton versus Nevada. There's a Nevada here in Missouri. Let's go with them. Arizona versus Long Beach State. I think Arizona's nicer. Houston and Longwood. Well, how do you not bet on Longwood? That's awesome. That's a cool college. I bet they have like cool hats and stuff, right? I mean, that'd be a cool place to go to school. If Gussie wasn't going to Missouri, we'd at least go tour to Longwood just to buy some of the hats and stuff, right? Nebraska and A&M. I just think Nebraska sucks. I'm going to go A&M. Wisconsin and James Madison. Well, since we were talking about the Constitution today, we better go James Madison. Duke and Vermont. I don't think they play much basketball at Vermont, do you? Texas Tech and NC State. Kelton, what do you think?
I think I had NC State for that one.
Well, I'll go with you there. Kentucky and Oakland. Well, they got to play good basketball in Oakland, right?
No, that's an easy Kentucky win.
Okay. Florida and Boise State. I like Boise State. Pretty up there. Marquette and Western Kentucky. The Hilltoppers. We're going Western Kentucky. Purdue and Montana State. Kelton, we're going to go Purdue, right?
Yeah, actually.
That's actually Bill Eigel's alma mater.
Grambling beat Montana State, so Purdue's playing Grambling tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to go with Bill Eigel's alma mater. We're going to go Utah State, TCU. I say we go we already did the Mormons for one. We'll go TCU. Gonzaga, McNeese. I don't know what McNeese is, so we'll go Gonzaga. Kansas and Samford. I'm going with Quantrill. I'm going with Samford. I bet Quantrill will never burn wherever Sanford is, right? South Carolina, Oregon. I'm going to go South Carolina. I like that. Kenny Powers played at Myrtle Beach, right?
I believe so.
So, I'm going with South Carolina. Creighton and Akron. You picked that, Kelton. I have no idea.
I have Creighton on that one.
Oh, Creighton. And we're going to Texas and Virginia. We'll go Texas. Tennessee and St. Peter's. Oh, that's not the elementary school across the street, is it?
No, but I actually have St. Peter's.
I'm going to go with St. Peter's too then. So let's just skip all the other crap. Who are we going to say comes out of the UConn bracket? Started from the bottom, now we're here. I'm with Drake too. Started from the bottom, now the whole team's here. Then we got the other one. We're not going to pick all these games. I thought this would be a good idea. It's kind of boring. We got Alabama. What about Alabama? What about Nick Saban? Let's go Nick Saban. Longwood. That just sounds awesome, right? But I'm going to go with the Hilltoppers. Hillbilly pride, baby. You got to stick together. And then we're going to go with Bill Eigel's alma mater.
I actually have them going all the way.
Oh, over the Hilltoppers?
Yeah, I think I have.
No way, dude. Western Kentucky is going to beat the Eigel's crew. And I'm going to say Nick Saban beats Drake. And then the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers to win it all. That's your bracket, folks, right here. The Final Four is going to be starting from the bottom. Now we're here, and Drake, Nick Saban, the Hilltoppers, and Bill Eigel's alma mater. We're going to have a final of Nick Saban versus the Hilltoppers and your champions, the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. It's going to follow me, folks. Follow me. All right. Love you guys. No show this week. We'll be back next week.